welcome to Houston Real Estate Radio. Hope you're having a great 2016. Hope you're having a great new year. We are excited to kick off a new year of shows. We've got lots of great people coming on, already scheduled to come on this year. A lot of wonderful things lined up for you. Remember, if you have a real estate question, you can call it in at 844-788-9444, and we'll be happy to answer your real estate questions right here on the air every Sunday. 844-788-9444. We answer all sorts of real estate questions on the air. And one of the big questions that I've been talking to a lot of realtors about lately is what they're going to do in 2016. We did a few shows at the end of last year about the difference between independent brokerages and franchises. We did it on the difference between referral companies and real estate companies. And I've talked to a lot of realtors about their career for 2016 because we know there are like 30,000 realtors in Houston, and a lot of them don't do business, don't do production, and so there are other alternatives for them. So anyway, if you have any real estate questions, give us a call, and we'll be happy to talk about those on the air. We've got an exciting show today. We are talking about something a little different today. You may not be aware that a few years ago, back in the early, well, I guess it was around 2008, the Texas Association of Realtors came up with a program that was, I think it was put forth by National. It's the Texas Realtors Leadership Program. And back in 2010, I went through this program. It's almost a year-long program that our Houston Association of Realtors does for us locally. And basically, they saw a need for people to get more involved in the associations because we know that the average, well, most of the owners of real estate brokerages are 65 and over. They're an aging population, and we know the average age of a realtor is 55 years old. So I'm one of the youngest broker owners in Houston, in H-Town, and I'm not even that young. I'm 40. So it's an older age group that is usually doing the leadership part of real estate, and so they wanted to bring in younger leaders, so they came up with this program. And so Theresa Wagaman graduated this year. So I've got Theresa here in the studio to talk about the Texas Realtors Leadership Program. And one of the things that they do every year is they have a legacy project at the end of their year. And so she graduated back in October. And so Theresa's coming on the show today to talk about their legacy project. And it's going to be a really interesting show. So Theresa Wagaman is a realtor, and I know Theresa also from Junior League. So I know you have been a leader for a long time, and now you're getting more involved in leadership in real estate now that you've been a realtor for quite a long time. So welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So did you enjoy the Texas Realtors Leadership Program?
Honestly, it was a fantastic program. It covered more dimensions of the business than I even realized were available. It really was amazing.
Good. I know there's a lot of growth. Anytime you do a year-long program like that, you can really, they usually have you do something in the beginning so you can kind of see where you are in the beginning, and then they do something at the end, and you can see that growth, which is really neat. So.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And the fact that you meet other agents from around your area. Mm-hmm. We had Harris County, Montgomery County, over into Galveston, and you get to meet all sorts of people in the business from all different areas and find out what they're doing and what they're not doing, and you can't help but grow.
When I was in that program, it helped me decide whether I wanted to go with a franchise or become an independent brokerage. I was making that decision when I was in that program. So it's really, really interesting. Okay, let's talk about the legacy project that your class is doing, the 2015 class is doing.
Right. So our legacy project, we had multiple choices. We had multiple opportunities to choose different, philanthropic organizations, and we chose Elijah Rising. And Elijah Rising helps with human trafficking here in the Houston area. It's locally based. Kat French is the director for the program, and she is just an unbelievably spirit-filled woman who is looking to help people in these horrible situations. And so we have chosen Elijah Rising, and we are looking to raise funds to help them do more good within our city.
What's y'all's goal?
We are looking at $60,000.
Ooh, that's a lot of money. That'll be able to help a lot of people. All right, so you guys have a big fundraiser coming up, right?
We do. We have a Bond Casino night, and it is in conjunction with Audi of Houston. And they have every year they have an opening sort of event, and they have allowed us to come in and sponsor our portion for Elijah Rising. And so we're going to have a casino night with tables and wine pools and auction opportunities. And so we're asking the community to come out and visit with us, visit with Audi, and learn more about the situation here in Houston.
All right, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Brought in Debbie Riddle. You guys have heard from her before on the show. She always has lots of great things to talk about. Representative Debbie Riddle from District 150. Debbie, you've had a lot to do with some legislation for human trafficking, so we want to talk to you about that. But before we do, I want you to kind of define what is human trafficking, because I think a lot of people, I know for me, I had a different vision of what it was until I really started talking to Theresa about this and all, and figuring out which way we wanted to go with this show today. I think there are a lot of different visions of what exactly human trafficking is. So can you explain it to us?
Well, yes, I can. And thank you for having me here today, having both of us here today. Mm-hmm. I think that that's quite exciting for us to be able to talk about the facts of what's going on, and the tragedy is going on right under our own noses here. There's two terms. One is human smuggling, and the other is human trafficking, and they are quite different. Smuggling is just getting human beings across the border, that type of thing, or from one location to another. The human trafficking, however, is slavery. It is the buying and selling of human beings, and that is a huge problem. The drug cartels, which everybody is familiar with, mm-hmm. the drug cartels. Well, the drug cartels, quite frankly, have discovered that human trafficking is just as profitable, if not more so, than the selling of drugs. And
but that makes you want to keep your kids at home every night, doesn't it?
Well, you can't live in fear. I think that, I pray a hedge of protection around my family and children and grandchildren. I think God doesn't want us to live in fear, but we do need to be aware of what is going on around us. And the director of DPS in Texas, Colonel McCraw, he's the head of Border Security and of the Department of Public Safety, mm-hmm. and is overseeing all of the Texas part of our border security. And as a Texas legislator, that's a huge thing, mm-hmm. For us. He says that Houston is the command and control center for the drug cartels.
Wow.
That means we are also the command and control center for the human trafficking.
Ugh, terrible. Hate to even think about it. All right, so this is a huge problem for Houston. Huge problem.
Yes, it is. It's a massive problem, and it's a human tragedy, because it is not just about adults or adult women that they might be bringing across the border from other countries. A lot of these are kids. Mm-hmm. I was at a conference and was visiting with a district attorney in the San Antonio area, and she was saying that the youngest one that they've dealt with, I believe, was about 8 years old.
Wow, that's so young.
Just a baby.
So, I guess a lot of these women are being kidnapped or lured in, right?
Kidnapped and lured, yes.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, when we come back, I want to talk about some of the legislative issues out there, some of the things. I know you've worked to pass legislation to work towards some resolution on some of this, so we'll talk about that when we come back. And Theresa, casino night that you guys are having to raise funds for Elijah Rising, what's the date on that?
It is January 14th from 6 to 10 p.m.
6 to 10 p.m. And where is it going to be located?
At the Audi Central Houston location on 2920 Southwest Freeway.
And anybody can go?
Anybody can go.
How do they get tickets? At the door?
You can just come as you are, or you can RSVP with Let 'em Roll 2016 at eventbrite.com.
Very cool. All right, we'll be right back here on Houston Real Estate Radio after a word from our sponsors.